Hey guys, welcome to day 28 of 117. Was that 117? Good gosh, 119 days of link building. And I'm your host, Deepak Shukla. I'm the founder at Pearl Lemon. We're an SEO agency based in London. And today I also would like to direct you towards the additional 17 strategies not shared in this training that you can get access to somewhere just below. So today we're talking about podcast link building. Now, podcast link building is a pretty damn cool subject. Podcast link building has a lot of benefits. So the idea behind this fundamentally is that you can appear on other people's podcasts and then they link back to you because you featured on their podcast. And it's a little bit of a quid pro quo. You produce some good content for their audience, they get that content, they share that content with their audience, you potentially get referrals, you potentially do some business directly with the podcast host. Now, you need to be comfortable being on a podcast, you need to carve out time to be on the podcast, and you need to, well, you don't need to, it would be pertinent to have a good story to share and or angle on the podcast. So these are all things that I think are quite important to fundamentally podcast success. So in essence, what you need to do is to find basically podcasts that you could be on. So podcast directory, podcast directory app. So podcasts are growing hugely, and fundamentally you can really take advantage and benefits of that. So find your new podcast. So let's have a look at where the hell the list is. I find this list from time to time, and then I lose this from time to time. The definitive, so that's podcast directory link building, which we'll come to in another video. But Apple Podcasts. Let's look for categories. Here we go. Here we go. So I think that in here, crap, this is annoying, but fine. Let's just have a look if we can find it. Uh, you see where I'm trying to go with this, and I'm not having the best success. But fundamentally, you should look at podcast categories and you should identify ultimately all of the podcasts, list of all podcasts on iTunes. Here we go. So let's just see what that, and then you've got Spotify, you've got basically, all of these elements that are relevant to it. So Google has their own podcast list as well. So let's just see what those two spring up. And here we go. Brilliante. So I'll put this link in the description. Hopefully I will. If I don't, nudge me. And boom, there you go. You've got lists of thousands of podcasts here fundamentally, and you can go ahead and start identifying podcasts that are relevant to your niche. So we're Pearl Lemon, we're a marketing agency. We could also talk about entrepreneur. We could talk about a lot of these things. Everyone could really. But then all of a sudden, A to Z, you've got what? Let's just see roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a list of 10 there. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So let's just say 240 podcasts going. I don't even know if that's A to Z, but let's just have a look at something. So if we go now to L, wow, yeah. So there you go. That I think was just A, I guess. But yeah, there's thousands upon thousands of podcasts that all talk about marketing. So you need to identify podcasts that accept guests. So you could also, of course, Google that and ultimately then engage podcasts that podcast accepting guests. So there you go. So then you could, and there's sites that ultimately, set up based around this, and you could have a look. 488 podcasts. Sign in, get started for free. I'm going to send this to my team, to be honest with you. So yeah, pitch podcast. Let's just have a look at what happens. I'm curious actually, and perfect. So yeah, there you go. This is a cool site. I think you understand the process. It's a good way to build links. If you're not doing this as part of your strategy, you should. Podcast acceptor. Now let's try it for. Let's just try it for certain countries. India. Yeah, brilliant. So there you go. what are some of the best Indian podcasts. You could probably find directories per country, and you could go ahead and get your podcast on, and fundamentally start looking at how you can get onto podcasts on a regular basis. We've done it at Pearl Lemon. Let's have a look. Pearl Lemon podcast. Let's have a look. Explore podcast services, podcast SEO. There's podcasts that we've been on. We probably need to be on more. Talk with Deepak Shukla. So there you go. It's a good way to look at building linkios by producing good content on other people's podcasts. So podcast link building, get into it.